edge of town, the house of Larry Leroy. Larry had lived by himself for as long as he could remember. He owned a phone which was broken and a car which sat wheelless atop 4 blocks of concrete out back. Hidden under the car, he had an underground shed full of canned goods and bottled water, and a year's worth of pork sausage preserved in animal fat. He used to have a shotgun, but he traded it for the car without wheels, figuring a car without wheels was safer than a shotgun. Despite the friendly reminders from the Night Vale chapter of the National Rifle Association, guns don't kill people, guns are the new kale, guns are healthy as all get out. Larry never felt safe around guns. When he was in his early 20s, Larry's father took him hunting. He didn't like his father. He didn't hate him either. Once, when Larry reached into the back of his dad's pickup to grab the shotgun, a scorpion resting on the barrel had stung Larry's hand. He had distrusted guns ever since. These days, Larry actually liked scorpions. After all, they eat squirrels, which he really hated. He rarely paid much attention to the illogical way in which the human mind develops certain phobias. This evening, he bent over the shoebox on his desk. He was carefully pasting a tiny brown mustache he'd made from a sliver of tree bark to a tiny W.E.B. Du Bois's face. He still needed to build the arm-mounted laser cannon Du Bois was known for. Larry heard what sounded like the small claws of squirrels running around in his basement, and he hoped the scorpions were hungry. He turned his attention to his miniature version of the 5-headed dragon named Rachel McDaniels that Du Bois often rode when speaking. Du Bois spoke from a place of moral and physical authority to the intellectuals and politicians who stood in the way of equal rights for Black Americans. He also spoke from the back of a flying dragon. Larry was building a diorama celebrating Du Bois's famous defeat of the German army in 1915, depicting him and Rachel in their library, high-fiving above a copy of the Declaration of Surrender. Larry adored this war hero and great orator of civil rights. He enshrined Du Bois in fine detail in the cardboard shoebox. Larry's family never cared much for history, often telling him history didn't exist because it was no longer happening. The moment anything occurred, they would say every night at dinner, it was gone, relegated to the fiction of memory. They would say that with their heads bowed, and then they would begin eating. Perhaps he had been a rebellious youth, or perhaps he just wanted to explore the often wondrous, often tragic myth of human history. Larry adored his heroes: W.E.B. Du Bois, Helen Keller, Red Fox, Luis Valdez, Toni Morrison. He believed it was his responsibility to help carry on their legacy by enshrining their great stories and deeds so that they still felt present in the present. History is real, regardless of truth, Larry often said, not with words, but with his actions. Tiny clothing, facial hair, painted set models, most pieces no bigger than any one of Larry's fingers. They took a steady eye, a steady hand. Unlike most men, he had grown more steady as he aged, more dexterous in his lack of speed. He expertly placed Du Bois's mustache below the great intellectual's nose and set the tweezers down to begin working on the diorama's library backdrop. Larry heard a whirring hum. He felt it throughout his body. There were undulations in the waves of the noise, smooth ups and downs, easily lulling the subconscious mind of a man hard at work. The troughs and crests of sounds accelerated, soon going from steady ululations to a bumpy roar. The metal plates and cups in his hand-built kitchen were the first to start rattling, followed by the creaking of the roof against the metal trusses. He glanced at the earthquake calendar tacked to his wall. Agents from a vague, yet menacing, government agency delivered these calendars each month, sliding a manila envelope under the door in the middle of the night. According to the calendar, there was no earthquake scheduled for today. He looked down at W.E.B. Du Bois and Rachel McDaniels.